Time now for the voice of the land on the Big Play Network with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Always Positive Jay.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in to another edition from the remote studios for Voice of the Land. Yes, we are VTL. We are, of course, partnered with LPD Productions, part of the Big Play Network. And we thank our friends over at Vector Technical, like we always do every single week. They'll get the right person in the right job the first time. Yes, I'm wearing the Land shirt, my T-shirt jersey of one Donovan Mitchell, as a lot to get into tonight. All-stars being announced, at least starters being announced in Major League Baseball, and the Cavs making some moves since the last time we were able to talk as a show. And there are some things I need to get off my chest. I guess Lincoln has some things he needs to get off of his chest because he's knocking at the door of the room that I am in here tonight. And we will talk July 4th, some of our favorite movies, activities around the holiday, and we wish everyone a great and safe July 4th on behalf of the Voice of the Land. I am Kevin Arnold. Always Positive Jay is here with me as well, and Peter Tellett back at the ranch producing tonight. Well, Jay, the thing that we've kind of known about for a while, but you just never know with superstars here in Cleveland. The extension is done. It is a 3-year deal. I think $150.3 million. Really, it's a 2-year extension. So he has the 1 year left on the current contract. Then he has 2 years with a player option in that third year. It's a business move. I don't think people should. I'll get into why it didn't hit me the right way or the way that I thought it would initially. I'll get into that in a second, Jay. But look, it's a business decision, taking advantage of when money is supposed to take over the NBA again, like that next influx of a lot of money coming in 3 years, I think. And once he has 10 years of service, he could get a 5
4 years.
4 years?
It's this year and then 3 years from that.
Well, no, the extension.
Didn't he sign the extension? So he already had this year. Isn't it 3 years extended onto that?
Yes, but that third year is a player option. Where he
I thought a fourth year was. I wasn't sure. I thought a fourth year was a player option.
No, I believe that third year. So again, to explain to everybody, I know that it got really confusing. This is the way that I understand it. If we're wrong, make sure to reach out to us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching, and we'll try to get some comments into the show as well. Excuse me. But it's a 3-year total deal, so it's a 2+1, I believe, because after that second year of the contract, which would be 3 years more that he is here, he'd be able to opt out and take advantage of getting more money. Like in 3 years, he will have 10 years of service, where he could get the 5-year, $380, close to $400 million max contract.
Well, you got to do what you got to do, like you said, business wise. It is what it is. I'm glad he signed. I'm grown up used to superstars leaving, and now it's a trend that they're staying. You got Jose signing deals. We got Mitchell signing back. Like, I'm happy. I was very ecstatic. I knew it was coming, but regardless, the NBA is very fluid and things can change rapidly, and I'm glad he's re-signed here. Now, do you expect the rumor of Darius Garland's people saying that they're going to ask for a trade, because not so much because everyone said they don't dislike each other by any means, but it's like you said, it's a business decision. And with Mitchell here, he gets so much ball dominant shots that it takes away from Garland, and he's got his next contract, which is said to be the stressful one, right? The one he got last time is the happy-go-lucky one. The next one's the stressful one, and Clutch Sports doesn't mess around, man. They're all about their business.
Well, I don't want to read too much into it right now. I find it odd that there wasn't a lot of comments publicly from teammates. Now, I know it hasn't been announced, and I don't think it'll be officially announced until Saturday. But, excuse me, I'm dealing with something in my throat right now. I just had a great dinner of Wagyu steak, but,
Good Wagyu steak.
Yes.
Dang. Look at you, Kevin. Moving up in the world.
It was the low end of the grades for Wagyu steak, whatever that range is.
Okay, the low end of the Wagyu steak.
Yeah. So, but we also
it's Wagyu steak. There's no such thing as low end. Get it together, my friend. You got to get it together.
I'm trying. You may have to take the rest of the show. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Look, I mean, I feel like we would have already heard from Clutch Sports if they were going to, because the news is all over the place that this extension's happening. Now, the team hasn't announced it. I don't know. Maybe Donovan Mitchell got texts from his teammates. Hopefully they show up to his birthday party, unlike whatever that quarterback was from draft day. But it's odd that we haven't heard publicly from other teammates, but I feel like we would have at least heard from how much Rich Paul has control within the NBA circles, kind of like Scott Boras does in the MLB and Drew Rosenhaus once did in the NFL, that power agent in the league. I feel like we would have already heard about that. Don't you, Jay?
Probably. I think so. I don't think he's going to get traded. I think they're going to roll with the 4. We're going to see if they can hold these guys together with the new coach, if he can, like you said, puzzle it all together. And that's why they're not going to see no major moves. And people are like so up in arms about the Cavs not making any moves. Like, they made one move, and it was just re-signing our guy. And that was the most important thing they got to do. I'm sure eventually you'll hear about some low-end bench guy, but they're going to roll with the same team, Kevin, because they feel like, I think that they were unhealthy going into the playoffs. And you and I know one of the biggest advantage of the playoffs is just being healthy. Look at the Celtics. Look at the road they took. They were a healthy team except for Porzingis, but they were good enough to get past that, because he's a good player. He's a great piece for them, but he wasn't their key guy, not even their second key guy. And they played all these teams with injuries like Giannis, and then Halliburton with the Pacers, Mitchell with the Cavs. Like, it's all about health, man. And if this new coach comes in and has a better system for the 2 point guards and the 2 bigs to play together, who knows what's possible? But it could go the other way. We have no idea. Like, just like the Guardian season, no one saw this coming. We thought so many people thought Francono was gone, and we were going to have a rebuild year. And no, it's a resurgent year. And you just never know in sports, man. You really never know.
You never know. The Guardians have been a surprise, and we'll get to them in a little bit. I know that tonight's a rough one, but we'll break all that down, what's going on with them, once we get to that a little bit later in the show. But yeah, we did get to hear from Kenny Atkinson. And to your point, Jay, we touched on it last week. Like, the biggest question coming into this, throughout this offseason, is the core 4 going to stay together? Now, that can still be a question mark.
Nope. He does not want the core 4 together, apparently. He's like, no core 4, no core. Who does he want traded? That's what I want to know. Like, who does he want gone? What does Lincoln want that he has to be slamming on that door like that?
We go through all of these shows. You're always trying to mess me up, and I'm very professional. But, like, how do I not react to my kid trying to get in and see me right now? Like, that's the finer things in life that, why we love sports, but, like, there are things that mean more still than that. Getting back to the conversation, though, the core 4 sticking together can still be a question this offseason, because if a deal comes to Kobe Altman, I just don't think that Kobe Altman in this front office is searching out trades. Kenny Atkinson had Jared Allen in Brooklyn, and I don't think he's going to want to trade him. If that trade is needed, and they realize that, it wasn't just the coach of why things aren't working on the floor with the core four, then maybe a trade happens later in the season. I know a lot of people have been talking about that and mentioned that. That's not an original take or anything like that. I will not take credit for saying that, but I agree with it that might be looked at, and it could be looked at for Darius or Evan. Like, I mean, all three of those. Donovan Mitchell is the untouchable right now because he is committed. A superstar has committed to here that's not from here. Yes, he was a fan growing up because of LeBron, but that doesn't always mean anything. I guess we should start listening to what Donovan Mitchell says, because he said he loves it here and that we'll revisit this contract in the offseason. They did. They got it done. We found out on Tuesday. It was agreed to on Saturday. Jay, did you see that Woj had said that?
No, actually, I didn't see it. You're breaking that to me right now, and I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised whatsoever.
Because they went out to L.A. to see him at his camp, and you saw the pictures of Kenny talking to him, Kobe talking to Donovan, Kobe and Kenny on the sideline, watching Donovan Mitchell coach up some high schoolers. So they had agreed to it on Saturday. Great job by the Cavs. Not, any sources or whatever didn't get out until Tuesday, because that would have been a big thing over the weekend, and we'd be well past that story being relevant, but it still is here tonight. And I feel bad that he had to go on social media on a live stream or like record a video saying, like, I have been saying this whole time, but people wouldn't believe me. It is what it is, but like, I don't get why people wouldn't believe me. I mean, I'll explain that a little to you, Donovan. I know you watch this show all the time.
He's a huge fan.
Huge fan, huge VTL fan. Probably got the hat, the mug, the shirt, everything.
All the above.
Not with Paulus, So, but look, it's for us here in Cleveland to not fully believe it. Like, we should, and we're going to give everything to you as a fan base, and love that you're here, love that you're committing to Cleveland. We will always show love to people that commit and want to be here. We've been jaded in the past, and that's where this national media perspective of a lot of people like Kendrick Perkins and so many others that said there's no chance. There was
the naysayers.
No chance that he was sticking around here. Like, people said 100% he wasn't going to stick around. And after this next season, the Cavs should look to trade him this offseason because he's not going to re-sign. Well, that's all been dispelled, taken out of the realm of reality. He is sticking around here. Now, do the Cavs organization have to prove to him that they're doing everything they can to put him in a position and people around him, players around him, to win a championship? Yes. And they have to make smart moves when they do that. The first go-around of LeBron, if you remember, Jay, like, they were trying to give everything to him, even in the meeting that he took with the 6 teams that were looking at him when he did become a free agent. Like, they just thought it was in the bag. Like, they showed him Family Guy, which was his favorite show, with him involved in it. They had a good time. When Miami is showing him, like, this is what our plan is. This is who is going to be around you. This is how we see that we can bring you to a championship level. The second go around, the Cavs did a little bit better with that. This organization is going to have to show that. And look, there's still questions on the wing, Jay. I'm not seeing where those answers are coming from. If they just think that they can run this back and they don't need to make any changes except for coaching staff, I think that's a little naive.
I agree. And to what you were talking about, here's first go around. If I was the Cavs, I would have made a Family Guy video too, because that roster, I wouldn't want to point it out to him. I hope he just loves Cleveland, because holy crap, did that roster suck. But yeah, Kevin, it's all what you said it perfectly. Like, I don't know how more to put it, but we'll see. We'll see how it all unfolds when the season gets going.
That's all we can really do. And Kenny Atkinson, I think the quote that sticks out the most, well, we always say on this show, and Jay, this comes from you, don't talk about it, be about it. I think that there are still times where, like, when we're not used to people and coaches in this town, GMs in this town, actually giving us nuggets. Like, we're going to say, like, you're telling us everything we want to hear without really saying anything. Kenny Atkinson, when asked, like, can you make this work with the core four, being asked about that several different times, from the Evan Mobley angle to the Darius Garland angle, Jared Allen. At one point, he said, that's what they're paying me to do. That's what they brought me here to do. And that's exactly right. He had a chance. He was seen as maybe like a lateral coaching hire because he was also very good at getting young teams to play above their level like JB was. But he's had a chance to be a coach, step away, be an assistant under some really good coaches. Ty Lue, does that, that name rings a bell here in Cleveland. Steve Kerr, look, I mean, he was the one that took over from Mark Jackson and took them to the next level. He was talking to Kenny Atkinson all the time. What does that look like? That's the type of people and the messages, the experiences that Kenny Atkinson is going to need to pull from to take this team to higher peaks and levels with I would say, a contending worthy roster right now. If they can get these puzzle pieces to fit together, this is a contending level team. I'm not saying championship right now, but contending in a very tough Eastern Conference. Am I wrong in saying that, Jay, with the roster?
No, not at all. And when it comes to, like, how I am with coach interviews, I can't stand them. I think they're the biggest waste of time. And I think the worst one ever is the very first one they ever do, because that's the one everyone loves them because they haven't done anything wrong, but they also haven't really done anything right either. They just been talk. They're just talk and talk. I don't listen to like coach talk. It just here's coach talk. Boom, right there. It's nothing. Yes. And this dude, fair or unfair, he's got high expectations put on his table, and he's got to exceed them because it's pretty much Eastern Conference championship game, or he didn't do better than the guy that we replaced him with.
Right,
and that's what you have to do.
If we get into our own level of purgatory, now there's NBA purgatories when you're in that 7, 8, 9, 10, that playing type level, or 5 and 6, and you're just
Utah
to the top level of the Eastern Conference. Like, that's NBA purgatory. We can't be in our own level of purgatory where we're getting to the second round every year, and that's it. That's as far as we can go because we got rid of the guy that could get us to that point. We need someone to take us further, and then once you get to that further point, look, anything can happen, and that's what he is tasked with. He knows that, and pressure can either break you down or, can make diamonds. So we'll see what Kenny Atkinson can do, but it is good to see Donovan Mitchell dispel the stigma that comes from outside Cleveland onto our city, that big names, big time players don't stick around here. Myles Garrett did it, Jose Ramirez did it, and now Donovan Mitchell did it. And Cleveland is in a it's
a trend. It's a trend.
It's just time to get down to business and be about it instead of just talking about it. We need to catch a break, though. We on the other side, we'll keep this conversation going and look at where the Guardians are at tonight, plus 2 All-Stars named for your Cleveland Guardians tonight. Who are they? We'll get into that next, right here on the Voice of the Land, on the Big Play and Be On Air podcast networks.
Are you struggling to hire the right talent or maybe even find the right career? Vector Technical makes it easy. Since 1992, Vector has provided Ohio employers with a reliable process for hiring and have helped thousands of job seekers advance in their careers. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. We invest time to get to know each client and candidate personally. Vector places people in job opportunities that they are truly excited about. Interested in learning more? Visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com to see a full list of our current job opportunities and to find out what Vector Technical can offer you.
Welcome back to the Voice of the Land right here on the Big Play and Be On Air podcast networks. I am Kevin Arnold. He is always positive, Jay. yes, we are in our remote studios. If you hear some door knocking, that'll probably be my son again running up and down the hall waiting to see me because he can hear my voice, probably sees me on delay on the TV out in the living room, and also hears me beforehand as I'm yelling down in the spare room in our house, our makeshift studio, if you will. Jay, we were talking all about Donovan Mitchell, this core four. Is there a move that you want to see, or is it all about the development and reinvigoration of Darius Garland and the development of Evan Mobley, like seeing if he's actually going to take this offseason in his own time seriously, and Kenny Atkinson building him up?
I want to see the right move made. That's all. If there's a move to be made, I don't care who it's for. I want him to be blown away. I want, like, if it's like, because I like all of them. I love Darius Garland. I like Jared Allen, who are the guys that are in question to be possibly traded. And unless it's like you see a deal, and you know what I'm talking about, Kevin, you're like, oh man, that sucks, but holy moly, did you see what we got back in return? I don't want to see him make a deal. I don't want to see him make a deal just to make a deal because they don't think it fits. Like, how do you guys not play together? Like, I don't understand how it didn't fit, and like sometimes it worked. Like, I think Darius Garland's injury last year had a lot more to do with it than people think, because that dude is way better shooter than he was, and I think he lost a lot of confidence in. I don't mind rolling it back, honest to God.
I mean, I don't either. If whichever direction they decided to go, I didn't see necessarily an issue with it. But there needs to be accountability with the players. Like, look, we got rid of the coach, whether that was Donovan Mitchell, like that was something to appease Donovan Mitchell more for him to re-sign like he did, or whatever. Like, I wasn't clamoring for JB to lose his job. There's someone coaching one of my favorite teams that I don't usually do it, but I am clamoring for him to lose his job. As much as that is bad to say, you never want to see people lose their jobs. This is the one time I am up on that pedestal, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. That was their big move, was to fire JB, re-sign Donovan Mitchell. If they're going to run it back, these players need to have accountability. Like, look, we have to have some ownership of why things didn't go right last year. And under a new voice, under a new coach, we need to buy in. We need to be doing everything we can to put our individual selves in the best spot coming into training camp in September and taking the new philosophy offensively, sticking with the same defensive principles, and knowing, like, this is it. This is the time that we have to figure this out. And if we don't, one of us or multiple pieces are going to be gone.
You're right. So let's see what if they're gonna. Let's see. Hey man, what do you want me to say?
I don't know.
They just need to do it. Like, and I agree, they need to be held accountable, because I don't know how much was JB Bickerstaff's fault last year, but maybe it was the offense. I'm not an X's and O's guy when it comes to basketball. I never played high school basketball. I just played street basketball. I knew to set a pick and rolls and all that fun stuff, but we'll see, Kevin. I'm more excited right now, though. I'm more focused on my Guardians right now. I was enjoying listening to them on my way home today, and then I had to get on here with you. So.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt your time, but speaking.
It's not my time. You interrupted the great Hamilton.
Well, I don't mean to do that. Everybody has multiple devices. I know that your focus needs to be on the show, but if other people are tuned in to Tom Hamilton, you can have them on one device, then come back and check in on what we're talking about as well. But speaking of teams that players have accountability, the Guardians are having success because there's a lot of accountability and holding each other accountable inside that clubhouse under a new manager in Stephen Vogt, having the top record in the American League. I know that they've had a rough stretch. It's baseball. It's a 162-game season. Every team goes through tough stretches. Tonight, Gavin Williams made his return. Everybody's been excited for him to come back. Like, that's the piece to add to this to add to this rotation that's been struggling. It's not going to look pretty right from the start. I'm sorry to tell everybody that and give everybody that reality check. This is a guy that, he got shut down during spring training. That's how long ago Gavin Williams got shut down. He's been on the rehab stint through the minors, trying to build up his arm to be at regular season form. He's going against hitters that are in pure mid-season form. You got the Midsummer Classic coming up in Major League Baseball. We're getting to that halfway point. Even with a terrible team like Chicago, they have some power hitters. These are still professional hitters that earn their way to the major leagues. As they are now down 6-1, are the Guardians to the White Sox. But look, and I'm not making excuses for him. He will tell you, I didn't hit my spots. I'm leaving too many things over the plate. I got good velocity. My arm feels strong. I'm not commanding the baseball. The only way to do that, the only way to get that feel for the baseball again, Jay, is to pitch in actual games and at the major league level against major league level hitters.
Who knows? I mean, a lot of excitement coming into this game. Finally back to the big leagues where he made it last year and had a really good year for a rookie pitcher. Let's just not get on this dude's case and everybody get all crazy on Twitter and whatever else and complain about Gavin Williams is garbage and blah, blah, blah. No, the kid's young. He's got great stuff. My cat's trying to make an appearance here. And, yeah, it's all right. Did we win the series, Kevin?
We haven't won the series yet.
What is it?
It's right now. It's 1-0 in this 3-game set over yesterday, today, and afternoon baseball tomorrow on the July 4th, so that people here in town can still enjoy the festivities later on. And we'll talk July 4th later on as well. But look, I mean, if you're never counting this Guardians team out, even down 5 runs right now, you're not counting this team out.
Because of why? Because they hold each other accountable, Kevin. And the guy it starts with is Jose Ramirez. Today, on the really big show, they asked the question, who is the most important player / personnel person in Cleveland sports? And no one said Jose Ramirez, and I was floored because he is. That's the correct answer. I don't care what anyone says. When he signed that deal, he changed everything within a franchise. He took a pay cut, a massive pay cut. And then on top of that, this dude leads by example. He's like Nick Chubb when it comes to leading by example. He hustles every play, plays hard every single day, practices hard every single day, so that, you know what? All these young kids are going to follow suit, and that's why he's so important. And that's where the accountability comes. It's from Jose. Because if he's going to hold himself accountable, you better damn well hold yourself accountable.
And with teams that hold each other accountable, you know what? Respect is built and the culture is established. And Terry Francona did that from 2013 through last season. And Stephen Vogt just taking the mantle and running with it. When you have that kind of accountability and respect amongst teammates, you know what else you do? You feel that energy, that sense of motivation to pick your teammates up. Your starter is not doing well tonight. Well, we've seen in past games, it's the offense that picks them up. Or it's the bullpen that keeps the team in it until the offense can get going. Or it's the starters that are, they're having one of those longer outings that we need to see more consistently. Again, giving the offense that time to burst out and explode onto the scene because they have that ability. They can have 3, 4, 5 run innings.
Right now, last year, I would have been like, this game's over, without a doubt. No doubt the game's over. I still have faith that they can come back and beat this team. I mean, they are the Chicago White Sox, so they could easily come back and win this game because this offense can be, like you said, explosive at any given moment. They could put 4 or 5 runs up in an inning with the quick. They got the power of the long ball this year, Kevin.
Yeah, and it's not just
and when I say that, that's hard doubles off the wall, like you've exclusively said.
Yes.
It's just they're hitting the ball long and hard and do it consistently.
Yes, you hear the crack of a bat. Like there's just that certain sound when you hit a home run or you do something like it's going to be a double or a triple. Like you don't know how, depending on how it hits off the wall. But like, when someone has hit the ball hard with power. Power doesn't just mean home runs, but home runs come along with that when you're hitting with power. This team has the small ball, they have power. They can win so many different ways. They can beat you offensively so many different ways. It's the starting pitching staff that has the biggest question right now. And if they can get Gavin Williams on track, you add him to Tanner Bybee, who has been great. Carlos Carrasco's been having last few starts have been really good for him. 7 strikeouts the last time out for Carlos Carrasco last night. Now he got a no decision. Only gave up 3 runs. If you're going to go 5 or 6 innings as Carlos Carrasco, and you're only going to give up at most 3 runs, you're going to take that from him every single night. An innings eater like Carlos Carrasco was brought here to be. And a veteran that I know Tristan got sent down, and that's just to get him right. That's to get him in the right headspace, figure out his stuff a little bit more, ability to play with the pitches, play with his delivery, and figure something out that works best to get back to somewhat of the Tristan we know that he actually is. Carlos Carrasco doesn't have any more options, so that it was, if you're saying between those two, you don't want to get rid of Carrasco. Only one of them's got an option. Tristan McKenzie was sent down. I'm sure those were difficult conversations, but under conversations that McKenzie respected. So if this team is going to continue this brilliant season and make a deep run this year, Jay, it's going to come down to figuring out a way to piece that 5-man rotation together and get a little bit more consistency and length out of that. But we are coming up on the All-Star break, and we do have 2 All-Stars already announced as starters, and I have them kind of on my computer off to the side here. Jose Ramirez at third base. Stephen Kwan will be one of your outfielders as well, getting the votes in the first and second phase of voting to be named All-Star starters. So for the American League, this is your roster here, Jay. The DH will be Yordan Alvarez out of Houston. Adley Rutschman from Baltimore is your catcher. Jose Ramirez at third. Gunnar Henderson at short. Jose Altuve at second. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who I think Josh Naylor is having a better year than, at first base. But Josh Naylor, unfortunately, was third, so he was cut from the starters voting portion once the first phase ended. In the outfield, Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, and Stephen Kwan from right to left. I do have the National League roster as well, at least the starters, because my wife is kind enough to send those to me via DM on Twitter. Shohei Ohtani, no surprise there, he's your DH. William Contreras, be your catcher. Alec Bohm, Trey Turner, Ketel Marte, Bryce Harper make up your infield. And in the outfield, Jurickson Profar, Fernando Tatis Jr. in center, Christian Yelich in right.
I'm so happy that Stephen Kwan made it into the start. Like, I knew Jose was going to make it. He was doing pretty good in the voting, but Stephen Kwan coming up from behind to make starting because he deserves to be a starter for sure. And it's his first time there. He's going to have a blast. That kid's got a lot of energy, and I think he's going to be awesome for the All-Star game. I'm so happy for him. You couldn't ask for a better guy.
Couldn't ask for a better guy. And, I mean, you have a feeling that Clase is going to make it, and he's just having a brilliant season as a closer. Hopefully we can get a couple more guys. I feel like David Fry and Josh Naylor have a legitimate case to make the roster as a All-Star reserve. We'll see as we get closer, because they announce the stuff little by little. They try to mimic the NBA model for announcing this stuff, because we know the NFL All-Star game or Pro Bowl doesn't matter at all. So those are your 2 starters. Not surprising, but hopefully we get some more Guardians representing us at the Midsummer Classic. And again, it is Coming up here in July, a much needed break for the Guardians coming up. We'll get Jay back here in just a second as working on some stuff. Oh, Brian Rocchio, a nice home run to get the Guardians back in it, 6-2. We'll see if that starts a run for them. Juan Ramirez, your two starters in the All-Star game. Who else will join them? Well, we'll see, because I know the Guardians.
Getting clear now?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Jay, I got you loud and clear coming through.
All right.
So,
Yep, they'll fix it.
all right. So we will finish up and finalize the adjustment on sound. And on the other side, I might dominate the conversation a little bit, but
A little bit.
Got some stuff I got to get off my chest, Jay, and I'm
Let it out, man. You gotta let it out.
And we'll.
How happy were you when I put in the little like text to saying like third segment USA Soccer?
Yes. So on the other side of the break, this is the Voice of the Land on the Big Play and BNR podcast networks.
Are you looking for a career in manufacturing? Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that is partnered with some of the biggest and the best companies throughout northeastern Ohio. The recruiters at Vector Technical will coach you through the entire job process and will help you land an opportunity that you are truly excited about. Vector does not add any additional fees and offers benefits as well as free online skills training through Penn Foster. To learn more, visit www.vectortechnicalinc.com and make sure to check out our job board to see a full list of our current opportunities and apply.
Get your gear at voiceoftheland.com/shop.
Welcome back to the Voice Land here on the Big Play and Be On Air podcast networks. I am Kevin Arnold, and Jay is here with me as well. We apologize for some of those technical difficulties as we are, again, remote. You guys, I'm sure a lot of you that work, you have Teams meetings or virtual meetings still since COVID, and they still don't always go right. No matter how much you know about these systems and everything, they don't always go right. So we got everything fixed, and Jay, boy, oh boy.
Wait. Before I let you go on your rant, I gotta say something that made me quite happy, and I'm glad justice was served. That Mustard, all its wins have been relegated from the hot dog races. I love it. I'm all for it. I think he should be sitting back down to the minors. It is time to call up the best hot dog there is available, Chili Dog. I'm still on this. I'm never giving up for Chili Dog. Call him up.
Well, when you say Chili Dog, now that means something different to me because the name of the mother on Bluey is Chili. No. So they kind of call her Chili Dog sometimes. That's her nickname. So, if I get a Bluey character in the hot dog race with an actual dog out there, that might be cool. But yeah.
No. Take your Bluey take somewhere else, buddy. We ain't doing that. This is a hot dog, not a dog race. This is a hot dog. There's a huge. We don't eat dogs.
I know we don't eat dogs. That's
the people in Haiti.
There's new Bluey out today, so I'm in a Bluey mindset. So when you say Chili Dog, that's where my head goes.
Kevin.
What?
You're permanent Bluey.
We got serious stuff to get into. Yes, it's great that Mustard had his stuff vacated and Dre got justice. But there's something going on in the soccer world. I know that not everybody gets into the conversation when we talk soccer. But look, here at Big Play, we're big on soccer. I know our friends over at the Reflog Show, they talk about the crew. We'll talk about the crew here. We talk about the Crunch. Other shows will do that as well. I know that the Crunch have been connected with Josh Cribbs and his wife for a while. So there is a lot of soccer talk. You get a lot of different perspectives here at Big Play. And there's an issue in the soccer world right now that I don't know a lot of people in the U.S. actually know about. And that is USA men's national team did not even get out of their group in the Copa America, which is the South American tournament, very similar to the Euros, like region by region has their own tournament. Here up in the North America area, it's usually the Gold Cup, but every now and again, North American countries qualify for Copa America as they go up against Brazil and Argentina, some of those big teams. Colombia even is one of the best teams in the world. So we thought, when you have a group like Bolivia, Panama, yes, Uruguay is a tough team, you should get out. You should be top 2 in your group, and you should move on to the knockout stages. Well, that didn't happen. They barely beat Bolivia. Panama beat them, which is in the, Panama's from CONCACAF or North America. And then you had to get a result against Uruguay. You give everything you got. You finally show life. You finally show energy with this talented group, this golden generation of soccer talent here in America. And you still lose 1-0, and you take your tail between your legs and you take your sorry ass home. Well, one of the issues behind that, I'm not only blaming this person, but he deserves a lot of the blame and has not looked good since being rehired as the manager of the national team. And it's a guy that I actually still like, because being a Crew fan, he was once the manager of the Crew. But just like JB Bickerstaff, he can only take them so far. He can only take this U.S. men's national team so far. I didn't clamor for JB to lose his job. I try not to do that as much as I can, because that's, in the reality of life, that's not.
Wait, this guy was rehired for the same job?
He was rehired because when you are hired as a manager of a national team, you basically get it's almost like agreed upon. That's a 4-year contract, because a lot of managers of national teams lose their job after the World Cup or the World Cup cycle, that every 4-year cycle. Well, instead of being willing, like if they were so
like that for all the other ones, like Brazil and all them.
Yes.
Huh.
It's just some of those managers stick around because they are so good at their job that they stick around for a while. Those jobs don't always come available. And though the other countries around the world are much quicker to get rid of a manager that isn't up to par. The Netherlands have done that. Spain has done that. Italy has done that. When you're not performing up to the level that people expect out of you, that's what happens. And it's a lot quicker. You could be a Premier League manager. In the first 5 matches you don't do well, they'll replace you right then and there. It can change just like that. We've seen that a little bit in American sports, but not as much as overseas. So now that U.S. has all of this talent, and I've heard people say, like, well, they're not actually talented players. Yes, they are talented players. Please stop saying they're not talented. But Alexi Lawless, who I disagree with a lot, a former U.S. men's national team player, now analyst on Fox Sports for soccer, for all of their soccer coverage, he tends to be overly critical of the U.S. when I don't think he saw the same kind of success that some of these other iterations of the national team have seen. But he said something that really struck me the other night after the loss against Uruguay. That was that these players are talented, but they're not talented enough for the national team, or they're not fit enough for the national team. And that means like taking pride in your country's crest over your chest. And that is taking pride that you are representing your country, your teammates, and trying to do something that the U.S. is not known for on the men's side of soccer. That is trying to win a big tournament, win a World Cup, win Copa America, prove that this build-up, being told that you're the best, you're so great. These players, this generation, they've just been brought up that way. That they're just so great, and they think that they can flip a switch and they'll be so good. Well, I need them to stop just caring when they play Mexico. I need you to care when you face Bolivia. I need you to care when you face Panama. These are countries you should beat. I need you to care when you take on the big wigs like Brazil, Italy, Germany, Spain, in whatever type of match it is. Our players have had a lot of success, and they come from Europe. They're European players in Spain, England, all of those places. They care more when they're playing for their club teams than when they come to their country. Everybody else from every other country around the world, whatever league that they are playing in, they take a lot of pride for playing for their club teams, and they have that same level, if not more so, when they get to put on their country's flag, crest, represent that country. It means even more to them, and they give more effort, more energy. I'm not seeing that from this team, and it's a disappointment. It's sometimes an embarrassment because the U.S. should be making progress and making bigger strides on the international level of soccer. It's not happening, and part of that reason is Greg Berhalter. Greg Berhalter should have been fired as soon as that match was done, similar to when the Browns always fired a coach when they lost to Pittsburgh in the last game of the year. That's how quickly it should have been turned around. And it hasn't been, because they have to go through a quote-unquote review, Jay. They need a review where everything stands with the men's national team. Well, you have plenty of time to review from the end of the World Cup cycle in 2022 to when Greg Berhalter came back in September of 2023. He is 7-1-6 since coming back. That's 7 wins. Cool. 1 draw, a tie, and 6 losses, and has not beaten a top 15 team in the world outside of Mexico. The talent on this roster should be able to do that. They need to take more pride, and we need someone to kick their ass in training, in practice, in every single meeting. These players after the match are saying, oh, we're going in the right direction. We love Greg. We're going to follow him to the ends of the earth. We're comfortable with Greg. Well, I think you're a little too comfortable. Carly Lloyd, one of the great women's soccer players of all time here from the U.S. And so many others have said, you have more success when you have a talented group and you actually come together when you get the tough love, when you get that hard coaching. I'm not talking about someone that's just going to berate you and pull you off to the side in a silent gym or arena, stadium, and, just embarrass you, berate you, all of those types of things. I'm not looking for a coach like that. I don't respond to coaches like that. And I definitely know kids of this next generation don't respond to that. But they sure as hell will respond when they feel uncomfortable, when there's something to play for. How are you going to respond? You're in an uncomfortable situation. How do you come out of that? How do you respond from that? And I've not seen that response since Greg Berhalter has been the manager. There wasn't enough energy and effort in the match against the Netherlands in the knockout stages of the last World Cup. And then you embarrassingly fall out of Copa America in a group you should have advanced from. You are just walking home without getting a chance to prove how good you are. The questions are going to remain about how good this group actually is, how talented this group is. And I've seen a lot of people that are just average sports fans ask, why should I care? Well, they better make you care. That's the issue. They're not making the average U.S. sports fan care because it doesn't look like they care when they're on the field. And in order to get to where we should be progressing to as a nation within the realm of soccer, whether it be on the men's side or the women's side, because they have a lot of question marks about this new generation that's coming in and trying to get back to the top of their competitions as well. You need to see it's not just, you can't just have talent, energy, effort, heart, care, love that the U.S. flag is on your chest, on the front of your jersey. It doesn't matter what's on the back. It matters what's on the front, and we better see that soon.
I'd make the team watch the movie Miracle. Like, look at these kids. They were 19-year-old college kids playing against grown-ass adults, and they won because of so much pride they had in their country and they had so much will to just win the game. They played just so much harder and trained so much harder. And it sounds like that's what they need. They need they need pride in their game. That's sad that if they don't have it.
They need pride. Again, they need a kick in the butt when they're at practice, when they're in
They
training.
need Kevin Arnold is who the hell they need.
I mean, I know I don't know enough about this. As much as I know, as big of a fan of the sport that I am, I know I don't know enough to be at that level. But if I need to be the one to give a speech like this,
yeah, I need you to give a little Kevin Arnold motivational speaker going here.
I'm just a kid from Wickliffe, Ohio, that loves a sport that isn't the most popular, anywhere near the most popular here in the United States. But I will be on the mountaintops clamoring for the sport and the beauty of the sport every single day of the year, and I want it to matter here in the U.S. I don't want to hear average sports fans here in the U.S. asking, well, why should I care? I've been told that, well, this is the group that's going to do it. This is the group that's going to take us to the top.
Do you want to know why? Tomorrow is why. Tomorrow is why you should have so much pride in their flag, in your country. It's all about it. It's what it's all about tomorrow.
And trust me, when you get away from the sports and you go into the reality of life, like there's other things that matter, and there's a lot of question marks about our country and like what we know, the flag and everything else to stand for, all of that. I get it. Right now, we're strictly in a sports conversation. And if you put on, especially these Olympians that are making the Paris Olympics coming up in like 3 weeks, you see the pride, you see the tears in their eyes when they qualify for the Olympics to represent their country. If you get to put on the USA soccer kit, men, women, whatever, represent it the way that it should be. We're not these other countries where they're training their players and the kids. As soon as they get the little fingertip to touch them, they're going down on the ground and flopping all over the place. LeBron flopping, or even worse, all over the place, which makes a mockery of the sport, allows the average sports fan, national media to make a mockery of the sport here and doesn't help it progress here in this country. No, we are tough. We have a lot of hardworking, blue-collar people on farms everywhere, like doing what they need to. Military men and women putting their lives on the line to protect the freedoms that we know about. Show respect to the USA on the front of your kit. And I want to see a team, I want to see the U.S. Federation make up for their mistake of bringing Greg Berhalter back. And these players need to, next time they get a chance to come together and play, I don't care if it's a friendly that, quote unquote, doesn't matter. I better see energy, effort, heart, and talent coming through my TV screen or whatever device I'm watching on. Speaking of the USA, it is July 4th tomorrow. I'm already hearing fireworks outside my window on July 3rd because it's legal in Ohio on the holidays to do it. We all know people set them off other days. Is that right or wrong? That's not what we're here to do. It's time to have some fun on the other side. July 4th, favorite movies, maybe activities. What are you guys up to? Let us know right here on the Voice of the Land, on the Big Plate, and Be On Air podcast networks.
Whether you're looking to hire new talent or start a new career, Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has helped thousands of job seekers advance in their career with reputable partners throughout northeastern Ohio. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. With an above-average hire-in rate of 1 in 4 candidates, Vector works hard to connect the right person with the right opportunity the first time. Vector Technical hires for skilled manufacturing and light industrial work and is sure to have a career that you've been looking for. To learn more, visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com.
Deep breath as we get into the waning moments of this week's edition of The Voice of the Land. I'm Kevin Earl, always positive Jay, alongside from our remote studios. Peter Tellep behind, trying to keep us sounding as good and making us look good as possible. Probably messing with so many sound levels when I just went off on USA Soccer in the last segment. I'm sure there'll be plenty of clips that we can post from that. And I definitely will, the longer that this review of which direction the U.S. men's national team should go in takes. However long it takes, I'm going to be right there kicking their butts, at least if I can, from my house here in Wickliffe. But let's have some fun at the end. We were talking about USA. So, look, tomorrow is the country's birthday. Are there a lot of question marks about our country? Yes. That's not what we get into on the show. I mean, sometimes we might get philosophical and human decency kind of conversations, but we don't try to get too political or anything like that, because that's a mess that we don't even want to deal with the way it is right now. But it is a special day, and it means a lot tomorrow on July 4th. And, of course, it means we're in the summer, cookouts, fireworks, barbecues, families, friends, getting together, whatever you might do. And one thing you might do is if you have some quiet time with your family, you might turn on a movie. Jay, you kind of asked us before the show started, favorite Independence Day themed movies. I can tell you right off the bat, I can just knock this one right out. It's in the title, Independence Day. Love it. Can watch it over and over again. When they tried to reboot it, I did not like that. Just stick to the one, the only Independence Day. You can have your feelings about Will Smith since that Oscar issue, but that whole movie is just brilliant, and I absolutely love it. That's
the dad at the end. The dad at the end. I'm back. Great scene. Great scene. When it comes to mine, it's a tie. I have a tie, and I watch both of them every single 4th of July in the morning, like after I get up. Jaws, which is my favorite movie, but my favorite baseball movie is also one of my favorite 4th of July movies, is The Sandlot. I absolutely love it. It just never gets old. From a kid to an adult, I've watched it almost every single 4th of July. And the scene when they're running through the streets and he's just grabbing hot dogs and everyone's out, it just reminds me of being a kid so much. I love it, dude. It gets me all my feels every single time, Kevin.
Yeah, it's still one of my absolute all-time favorite movies. I feel bad because I forget that it's centered around July 4th time and all of that, but it's just a movie I can watch all the time. At this point,
movie. It's really, but I mean, it's considered a 4th of July one.
Right. It has that basis to it. People just see it as a July 4th movie, because there's not a lot that come to your mind right away, but then when you hear that they are, it reminds you and you watch it. Now, I can watch Independence Day at any time, but not as much as I could do Sandlot. Independence Day is a movie that, if I have the chance, now, of course, I'm in a different situation than I was a few years ago, where I'm not just going to turn on Independence Day and scare my kid out of the house. I will show him Independence Day when the time is right. But that was always a movie very distinctly watching on July 4th, or even July 3rd and July 4th, because it kind of goes from July 2nd through July 4th and beyond. So I love when Will Smith gets up on the, he takes that F-18 and crash lands the one alien ship, and then he gets up there and says, punches him and says, "Welcome to Earth." I don't know. It just feels.
The president's speech is awesome. That's you're ready to run through walls type stuff speech.
Yeah, I almost put myself in that situation just a little bit ago. Ready to run right through the door and go see my, as my kid has periodically knocked on the door tonight. I'll go see him here in just a second. But Peter,
what's your favorite?
Yeah, what's your favorite, Peter?
I typically don't watch movies on Independence Day, but I would say Independence Day is probably my favorite. But
That's
one too, with the beaches will be open.
Mm-hmm.
That whole beginning of summer.
Yeah. Like, it's just. And
to me, 4th of July is like the true beginning of like summer kickoff. Not Memorial Day and the end of May, because it's still kind of like it's not really summer quite yet. The pools aren't really open and warm, and I don't know. I always thought like it's like right in the middle of summer, man. 4th of July, it's just awesome.
I know, but I always felt like once you got to July 4th, like summer really started to hit the accelerator at that point. That's why I do see Memorial Day as the unofficial kickoff to summer, because like you're getting that cookout feel, like, and a lot of time, like more often than not, it's still like warm here on Memorial Day.
The very next weekend, summer.
Yeah, the very next weekend, like that's when the pool, at least here in our area, that's when the pool's open. Is like that weekend after Memorial Day, because I mean we used to get out of school we used to go back to school the week after Memorial Day. Now, like schools are so early that they're getting, I know a lot of people didn't go back until after Labor Day, even before my time or whatever, but like schools are starting so much earlier that they're getting out before Memorial Day, and they're going back before you even get to even enjoy a day in August. So, and they're going back in buildings that don't have air conditioning, and it's really hot. Like I feel bad for those kids, those teachers. They're a big part of our country.
I didn't have air conditioning. I don't feel bad for nobody.
What?
I didn't have air conditioning at my school, man. I don't feel bad for them.
Okay. Well,
it'll toughen them up, man. Toughen them up.
So, what are your plans tomorrow, Jay? Besides getting up and watching your favorite movies, what else you got planned for the 4th of July?
Going to a cookout, and then I'll probably come home, and I don't watch fireworks anymore. I definitely don't buy them because you might as well just light your money on fire, in my opinion. And my cats hate the fireworks, so we stay home usually 4th of July for fireworks. But I do. I go to my dad's house and have a big cookout with all the family there.
Peter?
I'll be cooking out, and then we do go see the fireworks. We have a spot that we can avoid the crowds, but still see pretty much everything. So it's kind of nice. And then we'll be extending the weekend there on Friday and celebrating my nephew's graduation from Kenston. So
nice. Well, congratulations to him. Congratulations to
both of them. 2 of them. Twins.
Yeah, that's right. Congratulations to both of them, to all the seniors in high school, college. If you're a college graduate, high school graduate, I know it's a little late, but continued congratulations to all of those young men and women moving on to the next phase of their education or their life, getting into the work life cycle that we are all in ourselves. We don't really have plans for tomorrow right now. We're just kind of letting it go as it will. We don't know if we'll go to see fireworks. We don't know how Lincoln will handle that with the loud noises. He's kind of back and forth with that. We'll probably get him a pair of headphones. We'll try to find a spot where it's easily just, doesn't work. We'll just turn around and go home if anything. But this weekend though, going to see Sabrina Ionescu, Brianna Stewart, Aaliyah Boston, and Caitlin Clark. We are taking a trip to Indianapolis, and we're going to a WNBA game because, look, here at Big Play, and especially here on the Voice of the Land, we support all sports, and we definitely want to support women's sports because there's a lot of great stuff going on, not just in basketball, but across the board in women's sports. So we got tickets. We're going to take a little weekend trip to Indianapolis, and we're going to go to the game on Saturday where it's the New York Liberty against the Indiana Fever. Big matchup, a lot of big-time players and future stars in that game, so we're really looking forward to that.
Well, have fun with that and safe travels.
Absolutely. Safe travels to everyone out there. If you are traveling for the holiday for tomorrow or the holiday weekend, if you're
playing with fireworks, be safe, please.
Be safe with the fireworks, with the adult beverages. Please don't drink and drive. Have a happy and safe 4th of July. That'll wrap it up for this edition of the Voice of the Land. For Always Positive, Jay, Peter Tellep, I'm Kevin Arnold, reminding all of you, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. We truly love you all 3,000, so please be safe this weekend. Jay?
Don't talk about it, be about it.
And live life. All gas, no brakes, within reason, especially over the July 4th weekend. This has been the Voice of the Land on the Big Plate and Be On Air podcast networks.